Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, should the Clippers make Nicolas Batum a starter over Marcus Morris Sr.? So that's the topic I'm going to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro premium platform that we're launching next week, and be on the lookout for our website, dreamerspro.com. So anyway, let me get into the content right here. So this offseason, the Clippers were able to make a number of moves in the offseason market. Notably, they were able to pick up Serge Ibaka and Luke Kennard. One of the players, however, that kind of went under the radar was the acquisition of Nicolas Batum. And the reason that was because Nicolas Batum was recently waived by the Charlotte Hornets. They just basically paid him to go away. So when the Clippers picked him up, no one really paid much attention to him. Now, if you look at his career, he's never made an all-star team or anything like that, but he's played in the league for a pretty long time. I think he started his career with the Portland Trail Blazers, and then he played with the Charlotte Hornets, and now he's currently playing with the LA Clippers, but he also even played overseas. Now, if you look at some of his numbers, his career year that he had in the NBA was actually with the Charlotte Hornets back in 2017, when he averaged 15 points per game. He got them 1 steal per game, 5.9 assists, 6.2 rebounds. He shot 85 or 86% from the free throw line, 33% from the three, and just around 40% from the field, right? But if you look at those numbers, you can clearly see that number that really pops out at you is the 5.9 assists. And I'm sure that that's something that Lawrence Frank and the sort of the head office for the Clippers were kind of looking at, because they knew that they needed some playmakers, because once Rajon Rondo walked, and that was the type of point guard, the prototypical point guard that the team kind of wanted. Once they weren't able to get him, they knew that they had to go out there and get another smart playmaker, but he didn't come in the package that all of us assumed that he would come in, which is generally that your main playmaker on your team is usually your point guard or a great ball handling shooting guard. But in this case, they went and got Nicolas Batum, who's kind of a split between a shooting guard and a small forward, because he can play those two positions pretty well, and that's what makes him a very versatile player. Also, I mentioned his basketball IQ, knowing where to get players, knowing how to put players in certain positions on the court to be successful. But since the acquisition of him, I've also noticed at least that he's been pretty good as a three-point shooter. Like, looking at his numbers this season, and that's the reason why he's averaging 7.8 assists for the Clippers, 6.5 rebounds, and 2.8 assists, and he's also a versatile defender, right? He's a versatile defender. He can get his hand in the passing lanes. He has some pretty quick feet, quick hands, and he can help the team get a lot of deflection. That's what we've noticed so far, and he seems to fit pretty well with the starting unit, and also the fact that he's a great chemistry guy. He gets along with Kawhi and these guys, and he doesn't seem like a guy that's going to cause a lot of issues in the locker room for the Clippers. And I'm sure all of these things, they were taken into context. And I remember the game that the Clippers were playing, I think it was against the Denver Nuggets, and I was listening to Reggie Miller, who was one of the people calling that game, and he spoke about how he thought that Nicolas Batum was really, really, really going to help out the Clippers, and it looks like Reggie Miller was right. I mean, one of the greatest players of all time, Reggie Miller, maybe he knows a little something about basketball, and it turns out that he was right. Now, if we talk about Marcus Morris, on the other hand, Marcus Morris was one of those players for the Clippers that I really, really, really like. He was a mid-season acquisition last year. I think they got him at the trading deadline, if I'm not mistaken. And when they picked this guy up, man, he was very coveted. Like, he was coveted by the Lakers as well. The Lakers were one of the teams that really wanted him, and the Clippers lucked out, and they were able to sign a dude. And the minute they signed him, I was like, man, this guy is going to be a really, really solid player for the Clippers. Now, before they got him, he was playing with the New York Knicks. For the New York Knicks, Marcus Morris was averaging 19.6 points per game, 1.4 assists, 5.4 rebounds, shooting 82% from the free throw line, 44% from the three. Think about that, 44% in 43 games, and 44% from the field. When they got him over to the Clippers, he ended up finishing off the season. I mean, his average with the Clippers, his numbers with the Clippers were 10 points per game, almost a steal a game, 1.4 assists. So his assists virtually stayed the same. Rebounds went down a little bit. He shot 82% from the free throw line. 3-point percentage went down to 30%, and he shot 42% overall. And the reason that was, in my opinion, if you guys saw him, I think he was trying to find his role in the offense, his role in that team. Early on, he was taking a lot of shots, but over time, he kind of settled down and found his role on the team. And in the playoffs, I thought he played pretty well. Like, apart from just looking at his numbers, if you watched him play, he played pretty well. He played great defense. If you look at his numbers in the playoffs, he averaged 12 points per game. So his scoring average actually went up. His productivity went up. His steals per game went from 0.7 to 0.8. So his steals per game went up. His assists went up as well. From 1.4 to 1.6. His rebounding went up again from 4.1 to 4.8. His free throw shooting percentage went all the way up to 92%. His 3-point percentage in 13 games, he shot 47.5% from the 3-point line, and he shot over 50% from the field for the Clippers in the playoffs. So I don't think anyone can discount that type of productivity for the Clippers, and that's what he was basically giving his team, right? I mean, he was a very, very productive player, but also he can play great defense. Marcus Morris can play man-to-man defense, and he makes the Clippers a much more versatile team on the defensive end of the floor, especially when they're going against teams that have a lot of quick point guards, shooting guards, and small fours, because now you have a rotation of defenders that you can throw at teams. You have Kawhi Leonard, you have Paul George, and you have Marcus Morris, and all of these guys are in your starting lineup, with Marcus Morris usually starting at the power forward position. He stretches the floor. He has a lot of great size to him. I think if I look at his height here, Marcus Morris has to be like around 6'8", 6'9", right? He's a pretty big dude playing at his position. If I look at his height here, I know he's a pretty tall guy. I think he's about, he's 6'8". He's listed as 6'8", but I'm sure with his sneakers, 6'9". But that's a lot of size, right? He has a lot of size, and he weighs about 220 pounds, so he has a good amount of weight to his body. So for me, I thought he was a great pickup. However, given the fact that Nicolas Batum has been has started for this team so far, there's no denying that he's played pretty well for these guys, man. There's just no denying, if you watch these games that Nicolas Batum is playing in, he's playing extremely well for the Clippers. And I think a lot of us didn't expect him to play this well this early, but Marcus Morris Sr. eventually has to come back, right? I mean, they did sign him. There was a reason that Lawrence Frank said he was our number one priority in the offseason to make sure that we resign him. And that's what I think I was speaking to someone in the comment section commented that they're going to trade him away. I don't know why they would trade away Marcus Morris Sr. when he was their number one trading when he was the number one person that they went after in the offseason to get him. Now, some people may say, hey, listen, they wanted to get him so they can use him as a trading piece to get somebody else in the future. Possibly, but I don't think they would have gone through all of that. And what would be the reason for doing that? He adds versatility and depth to the team. He's a very versatile player, power forward / small forward. So why would they trade that away for what? That's for what? A point guard? Again, I mean, I don't see the need for a point guard when you have such great playmakers on the team like Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and then you are running the triangle offense. You have Nicolas Batum, and then you go out there and get a point guard and trade away a player like Mark. You don't find players like Marcus Morris just walking around the NBA like that. So, to me, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to trade him. But then again, I'm not a fortune teller. However, let me get to the final point here. The final point is, given the fact that Nicolas Batum has been playing so well in the starting lineup, I think when Marcus Morris Sr. comes back, and I don't know when that is because I haven't really heard any updates on him. They said he's had a sore knee, but I don't really know what's going on with his knee, to be quite honest with you. I don't know when he's going to be in the starting lineup. When he does come back, meaning when he's available to play, I think the Clippers should bring him off the bench at the beginning. Right, they don't need to just throw him in the starting lineup and thrust him in there. They can bring him off the bench and allow him to sort of get back into game shape, playing at full speed. And then as some games go on, I think they should bring him to the starting lineup. Right, Marcus Morris is just too good to be coming off the bench. I'm sure they didn't bring him there to be a bench player. Secondly, if you move Nicolas Batum to the bench because of his playmaking, because I think Nicolas Batum is a better playmaker than Marcus Morris Sr., if you move him to the bench, then it provides the second unit with more stability. You're now talking about bringing Nicolas Batum off the bench with Zubac, Lou Williams, and Luke Kennard. Right now, it looks like Luke Kennard and Lou Williams are the primary decision makers and ball handlers with that second unit. But if they put him to the second unit, I think it really helped that second unit and settle him down and just give the team more depth. And I think Marcus Morris is better served as a starter. So in my opinion, I think when he comes back, he should be a starter, but not immediately. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think the Clippers should keep Nicolas Batum in the starting lineup, or when Marcus Morris Sr. comes back, they should put him in the starting lineup? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out the next video that we have coming up here. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy that one as well. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.